Today, we are purposely going to be taking the worst route in Los Angeles traffic today and going straight through downtown Los Angeles. If you've ever seen photos, you know exactly, or if you've ever driven through this, you know exactly how bad traffic can be through the, inner loop, because basically all the different highways connect in that one area. And so we're going to be taking it through downtown Los Angeles, and most importantly, seeing how full self-driving does in that area, because it's not always the best. Like last time we did this with the Model 3 Performance, full self-driving, in my opinion, failed in terms of aggressiveness, but it did good in terms of getting us safely. You can now see the downtown skyline for downtown Los Angeles, and already traffic is building up. So let's go ahead and just throw it on autopilot. Or it's actually, no, throwing it on full self-driving, sorry. So immediately, it, for some reason, wants to get into the right lane already. We're okay in the left lane. Oh, that's right, because it actually wants to go the local way. I'm trying to force it to go through downtown Los Angeles, but it actually wants to get off at the first highway. Okay, so here's our first little mess up here. I guess it wants to get into the right lane, but then it waited for the car a little bit and then it went, so really not as aggressive, I would say. So I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try and pinpoint a location that is through downtown Los Angeles so it doesn't get confused, and it makes us go through the, there we go. So now it's going to go straight through the inner highway loop or highway sections of downtown, but it actually still wants to get off at the local exits. It wants to get off at the first exit right here and go locally. So I might have to try and just kill the navigation, or oh, you know what I need to do? I need to just put it in autopilot chill mode, because if I put it in chill mode, then maybe it won't go that direct way on the highway. But actually no, it still wants to. Is there a way to switch the routes here? Let me see, because if I've done this before in the past, if I switch the local areas, I can tell it to just go this way, right? No? There we go. I can tell it to go that way, and then maybe it should be fine now. Because I wanted to take the highway to go there. But right now the signal keeps staying on. I gotta guess oh, there we go. I canceled it. Okay, so perfect. So now it should be good. Sorry for the mishap there. And now we're going to be coasting all the way through to downtown on the 101 highway. And this is definitely going to be by far the worst part of the traffic. So I think we'll just let it sit for a little bit, and then maybe time lapse it, and as it does certain things, we'll come back and talk about what's happening. Okay, so we're coming to a pretty slow crawl here, 1 to 4 miles an hour, and this is going to be tricky because the lane on the right side is about to end, and so those cars are going to be merging into us while we're merging with another highway on the left side completely. I think we're coming onto the 101 now, and we just were on the 10, and the 101 is combining and merging with us on the 10 right here. And so let's see what full self-driving does. I've got faith in it, because I've been using full self-driving for the past month with this new Model Y, and this new Model Y is fantastic in terms of the different profiles. It does have a little bit of quirks where it always tries to get into the HOV lanes when we don't have the HOV stickers, but that's just one thing. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so that was good. I give full self-driving a 10 out of 10 on that. What happened was that maybe full self-driving left too much of a gap, and the vehicle pulled ahead, and then the Sienna pulled into our lane because it took it as an opportunity. But right now we are in the right lane. We're going pretty swimmingly, pretty fast, going up to 20 miles an hour, and then we're going to be coming to a stop because we've got this car in front of us, more traffic, and we're going to be getting into this lower area. You can see downtown Los Angeles is on our left, and this is one of the worst areas for traffic in Los Angeles, next to the west side areas on top of the 405. But this is the 101 we're going to be driving through, and then we got to get onto another highway which is the 110. And that's going to be an interesting one because that's a little bit of a right merge then to another ramp, and then that area where it's like 3 highways converge into one. It's going to be interesting to see how Tesla Full Self-Driving handles it. But so far, so good. I'm giving this score like a A+, or maybe even like a B+. It's funny, because of where the camera is positioned right now, it's kind of blocking the interior camera. And so the interior camera can't, which is facing the driver's side, can't actually see or can't get a clear view of my face because of this GoPro looking straight at it. So it's kind of funny. It's making me hit the steering wheel knobs a few times, even though we've got sunglasses, which usually does well with full self-driving when you have sunglasses. But now I have to keep hitting the steering wheel a handful of times. Coming to a slow stop here, 2 miles an hour. Last time, this is where the Model 3 didn't do so well because it wasn't really aggressive enough. The left lanes were moving a little bit faster than the right lanes, and so it kind of just stayed in this right lane. I wonder if that same thing is going to happen right now, and will it kind of just stay in this lane even though if the left lanes are moving at a faster pace. But I guess traffic this morning is horrendous, and so all lanes are moving at a snail's pace and not going anywhere at all. So now we'll go back to the time lapse, and then I'll come back if anything starts to happen. Okay, so a sort of similar thing is starting to happen. We're in the right lane, and what happens here is the lane, or the vehicles in the lane to the right of us, start to try and merge into our lane, and also the vehicles on the right of us, I guess, maybe merge into the right lane as well. But we started noticing that these left 3 lanes were going a little bit faster, and so pretty interestingly, I just triggered the left signal pretty quickly, and the Tesla Model Y aggressively made that lane change with no hesitation. But right now, because the highway on-ramp is coming up on the right side, it's trying to get back into the right lane, and so I'm having to cancel the signal, which then cancels the turn or the lane change for the Tesla Model Y. So that's a little bit of an issue sometimes, where like if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, like going into a lane change later than usual, the Tesla vehicle kind of wants to get into that lane a little bit earlier, or even do things like, I'm finding that the full self-driving is good these days, but I'm finding myself trying to cancel its actions a lot. Like if it wants to get into the HOV lanes, I'll cancel that because we can't be in the HOV lanes. Or if it wants to get into this highway on-ramp lane a little bit earlier than I would like to, it's trying to get in, I'm using the turn signal to cancel it. And so that's a little bit of tweaking. I guess like in the future, maybe these profiles will learn and adapt to how you drive, whether instead of how it wants to drive. Maybe we'll see. At the end of the day, I could sit back, relax, and let full self-driving do its thing completely, and then I wouldn't have anything to worry about. But I guess since I'm monitoring it, I want it done in a certain way. But sometimes, I just sit back, relax, and just let it drive me to my location wherever it's at. But let's go back to the time lapse, and then I'll come back if anything happens. Okay, so coming back, we are 0.3 miles from getting onto the next highway interchange. and you can tell that full self-driving is really nagging us to try and get into the lane, but I'm waiting because there's 2 lanes on the right side. It was 1 lane and then it merged into another lane, so I'm waiting to pass that a little bit before letting full self-driving make those lane changes. And so now we'll let it do its thing. I think I just had to cancel it like maybe 5 or 6 times, and then now we're letting it do this thing where we can get into the lane change with what, 0.2, 0.3 miles, like I guess 0.2 miles until the actual highway. And so now we're kind of just hanging out. There's cars in the right lane. The Model Y has its signals on. It accelerated a little bit, which is really nice, and then pulled ahead and merged into the lane. So flawless execution, maybe a little bit of stutter there, but also I was like denying it because it actually wanted to get into that lane maybe like 0.2 miles ahead, but I was like pushing it to say like, hey, let's just keep going before getting into that lane because I know there's a little bit more gap. And you know, when 2 lanes merge together, it causes congestion. So if we can get around that and then merge, it will save us a little bit of time. But again, like full self-driving by itself could have done it very nicely and I wouldn't have to, you know, force it at all, and we would just get there maybe like 10 to 20 seconds slower. And that's kind of the thing, right? Like, I guess when you're driving around, you always want to try and optimize as much as possible and get to your location as quick as possible. But how much time are you really saving at the end of the day? Unless there's like some sort of big accident that you like just nearly avoided in terms of like traffic patterns. But coming on to the next highway, this is the most interesting part of this, and also most tricky because there's 3 highways converging into one here, and then it even makes it more tricky because those 3 highways, at least the one we're in the middle and there's one to the right of us, both of us are trying to get all the way to the left side, and the left side has 4 lanes. So to give you some frame of reference, the 110 has 4 lanes, which is on our left. We're in 2 lanes, and then the right side is another highway with 2 lanes as well. And so we're all merging into the 4 lanes onto the left side. And so if you're wondering like why, you know, Los Angeles has so much bad traffic, it's because, you know, logistical things like this. New drivers, people driving might not be aware of all the different elements and factors here, and there's just a lot you need to kind of take in. And so I really feel like once full self-driving is on a ton more vehicles, this will help with traffic congestions because then all the computers will be figuring out with each other and playing the safe route. But I guess it could just add more traffic too because maybe the computers won't be as aggressive. But coming on slowly now, we are in probably one of the better lanes to be in because all we need to do is just merge left 1 lane or maybe a couple lanes, but then at the same time full self-driving has to not only counter or figure out all the different elements on the left side with the vehicles moving, but then the vehicles on the right side are also going to the left lanes, so it has to like be aware with all those different vehicles merging into our lane and then while we're merging into the left lane, which I mean, there's a reason why there's so many cameras around these vehicles, and that's kind of an interesting point. I was like thinking about this the other day, like because there's so many cameras on a Tesla vehicle and all the cameras are watching constantly, it's almost, I mean, it's naturally going to be better than a human because as humans we only have 2 eyes, and those 2 eyes must be looking in the same direction, whereas if you think about it, a Tesla vehicle has what, how many different pairs of eyes that are constantly looking in all 4 directions constantly? So it can react, it in theory can and will be able to react a lot faster than a human will be in the future. And so now Tesla, no signal on. I guess we're just hanging out in this lane. This lane doesn't turn into the highway lane. So let's see what happens. There's a massive truck on the right side trying to figure out what they're trying to do as well, trying to get into the left lane. And I guess Tesla has decided we're gonna stay in this lane. There we go. Okay, so now Tesla has turned on its signal. And wow, look at that flawless move there. I think it got a little bit lucky because there was a space there. Usually I don't think there's that big of a space depending on what time of rush hour this is, but I mean, hey, it pulled it through, and now it's looking to make another left lane change here, and perfect, flawless execution. We're now on the second lane, and it could make one more lane change. Let's see if it wants to do that or it just wants to stay in this lane. I mean, as you can see, like there's literally, I guess, benefits from this, like depending on what you're doing while you're sitting here. Of course, we're narrating and talking about what's happening, but it looks like Tesla made another left lane change, going up to 50 miles an hour, and okay, interesting. It wants to make another right lane change. I guess maybe because it thinks we have to get off to the exit soon, but we're fine on this type of road right here, staying on this highway. But I guess it wants to get into the right lane. Let's go ahead and kill navigation so that it doesn't get confused thinking that we have to get off at this next highway. But one more flawless execution of a lane change to the right, and now we are kind of staying in this lane as we pass through downtown Los Angeles. On our left, to give you guys more frame reference, Staples Center or Crypto Center is on our left coming up as well, and then we have USC coming up on our right side. And so I would say A+. I mean, going back to that one area where the Model 3 essentially did the same thing, where it just kind of stayed in the lane, but it's only because it wants to make that right lane change to the right side. But I would say it did pretty good, and hopefully you guys could hear me really well as well. I mean, this goes to show how quiet the new Model Y is as we go 65 miles an hour. And here, maybe there'll be another video where we can show about the audio test as in a real world scenario. But thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.